And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. We are going back to the Great Depression era, and we're going to be situated down on Wall Street where there was lots of panic going on down there. People were speculating, not knowing what was going on. Panic on Wall Street is an awesome little interesting party game from Marabunta. It's delivered by Asmodee in the US. It's a good party game from 3 to 11 players, and it plays well with the full complement. So let's take a look, show you how it's played. It plays in about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll see you on the other side. At the beginning of the game, everybody splits in half. Half of the people are going to be investors, the other half are going to be managers. If there's an odd amount, you'll have one more investor than managers. The investors get to select one of these 6 banks and take the 10 tokens from their bank to signify their bank name and their color. They'll also take $120,000 in cash. This is paper money, but it's actually quite nice paper money. It's very well done artistically. It has some very famous people like Alexander Graham Bell and Henry Ford, things like that, with some of their famous sayings on there, and they'll take $120,000. Now the managers will start with some companies that they're managing stock for. Now there's 4 different types of investments or colors of investments: red, blue, green, and yellowish orange. And you know, they're funny things during the Great Depression era, like a snore box stopper and a hamster radio, interesting things like that. Ooh, toothpaste, looks like toothpaste sausage, yummy. And a thing that kicks a kid in the butt. So they're randomly going to get 3 of these. And they can get multiple of the same color, they might randomly, but they're going to start with 3 of these companies. The game's going to also start with 4 of those stocks, those colors that we showed, in the start space, showing how much they're worth, 30. Now, the stocks go from very aggressive and risky all the way down to not very risky. And what I mean by that is these stocks can go anywhere, the small ones, the blue ones, can go anywhere from 20 to 40. So they don't range that much, and they're only going to move up to plus or minus 1. Where the green ones are going to go from 0 to 60, and they can go anywhere from plus or minus 2. The yellow ones go from minus 10 to 60, and they can go anywhere from plus or minus 3. And then the red one is the most riskiest. It can go anywhere from plus 7 to minus 7, and the value going from minus 20 all the way to 70. So you have a different range of funds there. The game's played over 5 rounds, and it's played over 5 phases of each round. Let's go into the negotiation phase, which is my favorite. There's a nice 2-minute timer here that is very nice for a game. We actually just use a phone app because it will buzz when we get close. But anyway, you have 2 minutes for all the investors to negotiate with all the managers at the same time. So what's going to be happening is, let's say I was the manager of this company, people are going to be offering me things. They're going to say, hey, I'll give you 10 for that. And I might say, okay, it's early in the round, I'll take 10, and I'll draw 10 and I'll put that person's token there. Well, it's not a done deal until the round gets over. So at any point in time, the investor can say, no, you know what, I don't want that deal anymore. He can pull it off, and I'd have to give him his chip back, and it's not there. Or someone else might go, hey, I'll give you 20. So I'll go, okay. So I'll throw his chip back to him, and I'll take Cape Fear's, and I'll say 20. And so again, either of us can take it off. I can either take it off and erase it, or he can take his chip back and I'll have to erase it. Nothing is final unless we negotiate a deal that says, sorry, we're closed, and that means that this is a done deal, no one can move it out. And you might do that to kind of make some bigger deals and things like that. So this is going to go on let's see, this is going to go on for 2 minutes, and once the 2 minutes is up, we look at everybody's things there, and we then go to the next phase. Now this phase that we're talking about, the negotiation, is crazy loud. Everyone is screaming and yelling, keeping track of what they pretty much have bought, making sure nobody undercuts them and gets them out. And it is just a loud, boisterous, amazing, probably the most fun phase of the game. We then go to the investor income phase, and we roll each one of these dice, and we see how much each one of these moves. Well, red goes up 3. Wow, 1, 2, 3. It went from 30 to 60. It doubled in price. Woohoo! That never happens in real life. We go down 3 from 30, 1, 2, 3 to minus 10. The green goes down from 30, down 2 spots to 10, and blue goes up, but it's still the same value. So those are the values that those stocks are at this round. So investors would get their income. They'd look at every place that they have a token, and not worry about this number. This is for the manager. The investor would look at the color, say, okay, I got one blue and one yellow. So he's got a blue, which is 30, a yellow, which is minus 10, so he would have 20. He would take 20 bucks from the bank. That's investor income. Everybody would do that. Then we move on to the next phase, which is manager income. Let's say this was us. We were the manager for here. Cape Fear would owe us 20 and 10, so he would owe us 30 bucks. And this person would owe us 30 bucks. And then they would pay us. Now, they get paid first. So they're making all their money. And then they're paying us off as the manager income. But then, once the managers have their income, we go to the next phase, which is manager costs. We have to pay $10,000 for each one of these. Now, these numbers here, 10, 20, 30, are all in thousands. So we have to pay 10, 20, 30. So we made 30, 40, 50, 60, but we're paying half of it back manager costs to the bank. So we really only made 30,000 that round. Then we go on to the last phase of the round, which is an auction. Now, depending on the amount of managers there are, you'll auction off a certain amount of tiles. It's usually managers times 2 minus 1. So if you have 4 managers, it's 7 companies. You auction them off one at a time. Somebody from the investor pool will do this for you. They'll flip this over. There's no time here. They would just say, okay, we have a 2x. So some of these tiles have 2x. And all this means is whatever this is worth, that investor is getting twice as much, whether it's positive or negative. So we saw here on the board, that yellow was worth minus 10. It would have been worth minus 20 that round. But you know what? If it's 40 that round, he would have made 80. And if you'd only paid 30 for it, you would have made a lot of money. So these 2x tiles typically go pretty high in value. So people would auction it off. There's no time limit. You just auction it pretty quickly because there's a lot of auctions during the game. And whoever wins it just gets to add it to his pool. But remember, at the end of every round, when the manager is going to have to pay $10,000 for each of these, so you don't want to go buying crazy. You want to see what the best ones are to buy. So you would go through all the different tiles that get auctioned off. And so each player is probably going to have more and more tiles managers over the course of the game. And that's the end of that phase. We just went through a whole phase, that's 1 month. We do that 5 times. At the end of the 5th month, all the investors will count all the cash that they have. The one who has the most money is the winner of the investor side. Then the managers count their money. All these managers that were managing this, they count their money, and the winner is the manager that has the most money. So there's 2 winners, one of the investor side, one of the manager's side, and it takes about 30 or 45 minutes. All right, there's Panic on Wall Street. You guys know that I love negotiation games and I love economic stock market games. So you put those together. Do I like this? I loved it. I felt like it was like I'm the Boss meets Speculation, which are 2 of my favorite games, and they put it together. I feel like that's what this kind of is. It is so much fun. Now, granted, if you have people that are shy, they might not like this. They might get just completely run over. Other than that, you're going to have a blast. The negotiation phase is so amazing. I just love how they split up the people from the investors and the managers, and when you play the game on each side, it's quite a different game. It's really interesting how when either side you're on, it just feels like a completely different game. And I love that about this, because you'll probably won't get sick of it because it's so different on each side. And I love that just the combative negotiation phase is amazing. I mean, we played this out in our backyard till like midnight one night, and my poor neighbors were listening to us yell and scream. We played it with 6, 7, 8, and 9 that night, different players. It plays well with a lot of people. If I have a huge group and I have 30 minutes to burn, this is the game I'm going to pull out because it is a lot of fun. It's tons of yelling and screaming and just getting in people's face. And you really got to be careful though, because with a lot of people, you might not see some of your deals that you had set up didn't come out. You know, the people got, you got undercut. You might not have noticed, so you really have to pay a lot of attention to. It's a very focused, intense 2 minutes. And since there's 5 rounds, there's 10 minutes of intense negotiation, which is my favorite part of the game. Other than that, the auction, the only downside is I guess the auction can run a little long sometimes, but we're pretty good about moving it quick. I'd say 30 to 45 minutes is about right. With 8 and 9, we finished just before 45 minutes. That was about right. Probably with less players, you'd be closer to 30 minutes. But it flies by. Absolute great fun. If you like negotiation, if you like to see people going crazy, you got to check this game out. It's going to be in my collection forever. It's one of my favorite negotiation games, one of my favorite party type games, Panic on Wall Street.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.